Hello everybody and welcome to Bite Size Law. Today's Bite Size Law is concentrating on the Equalities Act of 2010. That's the Equalities Act of 2010. This bit of legislation obviously came out in 2010 and it replaced the Disability Discrimination Act. So it's a relatively new revamp of the Disability Discrimination Act that has been repealed, and this has replaced it. So make your notes, the Equalities Act of 2010. It's not a secret, but how to use it is a little bit more mysterious, should we say. I've dealt with quite a lot of cases where people have been told that unless they are registered disabled, it doesn't apply to them, which couldn't be further from the truth. So I'm just going to, I've got some stuff up here, I'm just going to read out. Discriminated against because you failed to make reasonable. If you have a look at reasonable adjustment, the phrase reasonable adjustment comes up in the Equalities Act, and if someone hasn't made reasonable adjustment for your disability or impairment, then they could be breaching the Equalities Act, and that's when you can take them to court for failing to comply with the Equalities Act. It's important to know that the Equalities Act sets out when someone is considered to be disabled and protected from discrimination. The definition is quite wide, so check even if you don't think you're disabled. For example, you might be covered if you have a learning disability, dyslexia or autism. The definition is set out in section 6 of the Equalities Act of 2010. And it says that you're disabled if you have a physical or mental impairment. Sorry, just catching up. Physical or mental impairment. The impairment has a substantial and long-term adverse effect on your ability to carry out normal day-to-day activities. One that I dealt with that was covered by an impairment was someone was recently bereaved and just couldn't bring themselves to deal with anything because they was grieving. So bear in mind that you don't have to have a physical disability to be covered by the Equalities Act. Some impairments are automatically treated as a disability. You'll be covered if you have cancer, including skin growths that need removing before they become cancerous, a visual impairment. This means you're certified as blind, severely sight impaired or partially sighted, multiple sclerosis, a HIV infection even if you don't have any symptoms, a severe long-term disfigurement, for example, severe facial scarring or a skin disease. These are covered in section 1, part 1 of the Equalities Act and in regulation 7 of the Equalities Act. An impairment doesn't have to be a diagnosed medical condition. So it's not like they go and get a doctor's note or anything like that. If you're suffering from stress, you might have mental impairments like difficulty concentrating, as well as physical impairments such as extreme tiredness and difficulty sleeping. It still has to have a substantial and long-term adverse effect on your ability to carry out day-to-day activities. Guys, look up the Equalities Act of 2010. It is it's one of the better parts of legislation. If you're being bullied and you're struggling, the Equalities Act is where you need to look. Please have a look in the comments. So I'm going to put a link in for my new live channel. I hope to answer any questions and basically have a nice debate on the Equalities Act on my new channel, which is Chrissy Morris Live. Please go over and subscribe, hit that little bell thing for your notifications as well. And as soon as I've got enough people, we'll start having chats, debates, and hopefully we'll be able to help a lot of people with this. The Equalities Act of 2010. Hope this helps.